Hello everyone and welcome back guys to another F1 2020 preview video. Once again, I'm joined alongside me with the wonderful Jamie183. How are you doing today, buddy?
Hello everyone, I'm doing well, thank you.
I thought you were about to do your full intro then. I was getting very excited. But obviously, if you guys missed out on the first video from our 2020 teams preview, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out, where we discussed what we think we're going to see from Mercedes over the course of the 2020 season. Now, next up then is probably the team that everyone was expecting to fight with Mercedes in 2019. And depending on who you ask, and I'm sure it'll be discussed in this video, was probably one of the most disappointing teams as well in 2019. Today, it's going to be a controversial one. We're going to be talking about Ferrari. Now, Jamie, where do we... I think we're going to start this video. I'm going to ask you, out of 10, what would you rate Ferrari's 2019 season?
Maybe a 4. Like,
A
it
4.
was pretty awful, to be honest. Like, apart from the 3 weeks in a row where they got good. Then from then on, it was just bad again. So, yeah, not great.
I reckon a 4 is probably, about right for the course of 2019. Now, in all fairness to Ferrari, the final results don't tell the full picture. I think we can agree with that.
Definitely, yeah.
But unfortunately, that is kind of Ferrari's problem in 2019, was for those that have watched Formula 1, know Formula 1, remember races from Formula 1, everything like that, you can give Ferrari a couple of excuses here and there. They got unlucky here, something went wrong there, a safety car came out here that cost them. These small things here and there. Unfortunately, though, for a lot of 2019, Ferrari were their own reason why that result doesn't look as good as it should have, and everything like that. Now, obviously, with Mercedes, we discussed, obviously, where we see them in the future, everything like that, what 2019 was like. Ferrari, I think it's safe to say, the best way to describe it, and I don't know whether you'd agree with me, would be missed opportunity.
Yeah, like, plenty of missed opportunities. You could probably look at about, 5 or 6 races that they should have won that they didn't win, which just sort of sums them up. Like, if they actually go out and win all them races, that's like getting up for 10 wins in a season, which looks very healthy and is a good chance to mount a title challenge. But they just kept fighting amongst themselves and messing stuff up with no real pressure, so it was never really going to end well.
Yeah, so let's quickly let's just run through the calendar then, obviously, of races that they could have won. Now, obviously, some of these, it's debatable more than others, but just obviously the big ones straight away. Bahrain. Charles Leclerc should have won that race. He deserved to win that race. It was not his fault.
And they should have had a 1-2. They should have had a 1-2, but Vettel messed it up and Hamilton was just better. So
that is also true. I'd almost forgot about that, in all honesty. Sebastian Vettel just dropping the car, and he still got P5 from that race, which is quite impressive. Azerbaijan. Should Charles Leclerc have been within a shot of that victory?
I don't think the victory was possible. I think Mercedes were a bit too good, but definitely a podium. But then you kind of put it on him being his 4th race in Ferrari, but also this team shouldn't have sent him out on mediums. So, yeah,
that's fair enough. Obviously, Monaco, we'll get onto that. I don't think they would have been in with a shot of a win. Obviously, Monaco is such a weird track at the end of the day that it makes it difficult to really judge. Canada. This will be the interesting one.
So yeah, Vettel deserved a penalty and then completely made another unforced error. Would you believe it? And ended up finishing 2nd, as we all know. And then F1 fans around the world protested for about 6 months straight. And then later in the season, when FIA don't give out penalties, everyone's complaining then as well. It's like, what can they do?
It's a wonderful... Twitter is a wonderful world to live in. And yeah, that's that cheeky plug right there. Go follow us on Twitter, at Matt212 and at Jamie183.
I mean, that's not my app, but yeah.
Is it not your app?
Jamie_183.
That's fine. You know it anyway. Right, going on then, further on, we've had Monaco, Canada, Austria. Should Charles Leclerc have won that race?
I was there, so... I feel like he probably should have done. Obviously, Max had the pace, but after he messed up the start so badly and dropped to 6th or 7th, behind his teammate even, which didn't happen that often in the first half of the season. At that point, it's Leclerc to lose, and he should absolutely just win. But whether it be the pace of the car didn't quite work or the overheating issues and stuff, it was very hot because I was there. And like Verstappen ended up winning it. I think that was a fair move. I'm not biased at all, but yeah, I don't think a penalty would have been fair.
From a completely neutral standpoint, I'd say it's a fair move.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad we agree on something.
It was on the limit, but a fair move.
But yeah, just another one of the times where Ferrari messed something up by like, say if Vettel defends a bit harder from Max, then he doesn't get the chance to overtake Leclerc at the end and stuff like that. So
yeah. Now, after Austria, I think obviously Britain, Germany, Hungary, Ferrari weren't within a shot of winning.
I mean, you're forgetting in Germany where they qualified 20th and 10th because both cars broke in Golly.
I am forgetting that. Yeah, they were both turbo issues, weren't they?
Yeah, it was exactly the same issue in one in Q1 and one in Q3. So
yeah. So that is, yeah, that's fair enough as well. And I mean, even then, Vettel probably had, in my eyes, his best result of the year, despite obviously winning at Singapore. That was probably his that was, in all honesty, for me, the only race all season where I thought Sebastian Vettel looks like a 4-time world champion still.
Yeah, I think he was very good in Singapore as well, but Germany was...
Yeah.
See, I personally think it's a little bit overrated because he drove around in 9th all race, and then as soon as he got dry, he just DRS past people because all the other top 6 cars crashed out. But yeah, it was still a good drive. He kept it on the track, so well done to him. But I rate Singapore a bit higher personally. But
fair enough. Now, obviously, moving on from the summer break, it seemed Ferrari had turned it around. We saw Charles Leclerc back-to-back race victories. For the first time that I can ever remember, Belgium, Ferrari pulled off a good strategy. Now, I don't think there's any denying that.
Yeah, I can't actually remember what happened.
So, Belgium was obviously the race where Vettel, he went through his soft tyres too quickly early on. Pit early. Obviously, Charles Leclerc dominated qualifying. He got pole by nearly 3/4 of a second, didn't he? Obviously, on what was quite a dramatic weekend and obviously quite an emotional weekend. Now, that was, one of the only races I've ever seen Ferrari pull off a good strategy. Obviously, Vettel let Leclerc through, which I was genuinely quite surprised to see, although I don't think there was going to be much he could have done to stop him. And then did successfully hold up Hamilton, only just, but just enough for that race victory.
It was by like one lap, wasn't it, at the end?
Yes. Have I racked your brains? Do you remember that?
Yes.
So obviously we saw that race. Monza, a week later, we thought, Charles Leclerc on pole again. Is this the turnaround that we've seen? Charles Leclerc, I think everyone can agree he had a good season at the end of the day.
Yes, definitely. As he did what you could expect of him.
Yes. Now, by, Monza, Italy, you think they're both quite high, low downforce, I should say, orientated circuits. That's fair enough. That's where Ferrari's strength lies. Then we head to Singapore. Ferrari once again get pole position with another Charles Leclerc another mega lap coming in by Charles Leclerc. That one kind of sprung a bigger surprise, I think, for a lot of people. To be honest, I had Max Verstappen down to dominate that weekend going into it.
Verstappen or Hamilton, definitely. You would never expect Ferrari to be good there. And they just absolutely turned up and dominated, really. And they actually did another good strategy call with the undercut for Vettel. Maybe it was a little bit of payback for what happened in Monza qualifying, but I don't know. That's for them to know. But either way, they made it a 1-3 into a 1-2. So did a pretty good job there.
So we go from Ferrari before the summer break, really having an absolute mare, to 3 wins on the trot. And you think Ferrari are back. Whether they'll hassle Mercedes is a different question. Then we go to Russia.
Yeah, another good showing for Ferrari.
And we just see everything from the last 2-3 years. I'd say, honestly, Russia 2019 was probably one of Ferrari's biggest blunders we've seen in the turbo hybrid era. Would you agree?
Yeah, it was horrific. Messing around with team orders at the start was something that defined the first few races of the season as well. And then completely messing up the strategy. And then just reliability as well. What more can go wrong? And then obviously a Mercedes 1-2 comes out of it, as we see very often. So, yeah, it pretty much was a F1 in a nutshell for Ferrari in the last 6 years.
How on earth that should have been a 1-2 for Ferrari.
Absolutely, easily. They had the car for the win comfortably, yeah.
And after that, Japan, Sebastian Vettel did quite well, if I recall.
Yeah, he did.
It was Sebastian on pole, wasn't it?
Yes.
In Japan. Bottas, that was where Bottas basically did his Austria 2017 strat.
And Leclerc blew up Max at the start and then never really recovered.
Yes, I do remember that now. It's all ringing bells. Mexico, again, Sebastian Vettel does get P2, but a bit of a weird weekend on the whole. Obviously, Mexico is a bit of an odd circuit as well, which a lot of people sort of forget. Then we move to the USA, and Sebastian Vettel's car falls apart.
Yeah.
I got no idea what was wrong that weekend. I don't know if he had suspension issues from the start. I do vaguely... That was the weekend, if I'm not mistaken, obviously, where we saw Red Bull and Mercedes sort of start firing allegations at Ferrari.
Yeah,
now,
for the illegal engine. I didn't look
I haven't got my tinfoil hat at reach, unfortunately. And we're not going to jump into all the conspiracy theories of, oh, did Ferrari therefore turn the engine back down and everything like that? But USA, again, just was a weekend to forget, unfortunately. You know, Charles Leclerc, he finishes 4th, which really, you know, is what he should be getting at the end of the day. Then we go to Brazil.
That absolutely sums up that season.
Brazil, yeah, unfortunately, was not a good race. And then Abu Dhabi was just Hamilton. People seem to forget how Hamilton just dominated that race.
Yeah, he won by like 20 seconds without even really
Well, he
pushing.
got a Grand Slam, didn't he?
Yeah.
Pole position, fastest lap, led every lap. It was really... to me, it came across like Mercedes put all their 2020 upgrades on the car and just thought, see what you can do with them. We'll have a bit of fun this weekend.
Yeah.
Now, we've started this video, and I'm sure a lot of people are already keyboard warriors saying, you know, all you've done is go through Ferrari's mistakes. Unfortunately, it's a bit difficult to talk about a season, at least in recent years, of Ferrari, where that hasn't been the main talking point, unfortunately.
Yeah, and like you see it every year. Like they seem to, well, a little bit opposite this here, but they seem to have a little good spell at some point in the season, and then it all just falls apart again. Like in 18, we saw them start reasonably well. Like first half of the season, they were on par with Mercedes, and it just all fell apart. They put an upgrade on the car that made it slower, which was a great move. And then, yeah, 17 was a pretty similar thing. Just reliability in the second half of the season absolutely ruined them. And before that, they weren't really in a position to fight Mercedes. So pretty much same again.
Now, I'll be honest, this year looking at Ferrari, we've seen their qualifying pace has been monumental. We discussed it in the Mercedes video. Mercedes had the best all-round package. You know, it had a downforce level close enough to challenge Red Bull. For the most part, it had an engine close enough to challenge Ferrari. And obviously on an all-round package, that obviously just allowed them to be right there every single week, which we just didn't see from Ferrari and Red Bull this year. Now, would you agree with me in saying Ferrari's biggest issue now is no longer getting a car that's quick enough every week? They've proved time and time again now, since 2017, that they've got the car, they've got the facilities to build a car as quick, if not quicker, than Mercedes. Do we think 2019 their main issue was they didn't decide a number one driver?
Potentially, but I don't think it's vital that it decided number one. Like we see with Red Bull before this season, they all had like equal drivers, or like it seems to be all pretty equal drivers with Ricciardo and Verstappen, and that works pretty well for them. But obviously Ferrari traditionally have always had a number one and number two. But I just think the whole running, like the essence of the team, just sets itself up to fall apart. Like they never seem to execute a weekend well. There was potentially 3 weekends out of the 21, but even Monza didn't go perfectly, with Vettel just making a mistake as well. Like, so that leaves 2 weekends out of 21 that they did well on. So it's just too many like internal errors and just errors all over the place to just make the season fall apart.
So what do we think needs to change then at Ferrari? Do you think it's a whole management overhaul?
Potentially management, but like we've seen, they've gone through so many team principals in the last like 5-6 years. So I don't really know what they can do at this point. Bring back Schumacher and Barrichello, really. Like, yeah, I don't know what it is. Obviously, they've got a new young driver who's going to be one of the best of his generation in Leclerc, and Vettel, who's a bit washed up. Well, that's going to cause some. Yeah. So I don't really know what they need to do, but just do something better, really.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think, my next question for you then. I personally believe, we're going to see Charles Leclerc and Verstappen. They are Formula One's future at the moment. Whether we'll see a couple of people, Lando Norris, George Russell, a few of those other drivers as well.
Gasly.
I was going to say Albon, but okay. Do you believe either, first of all, here's my first question then. Do you believe Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc can both win a world title for Ferrari?
No, absolutely not.
Do you believe Charles Leclerc is going to be Ferrari's next world champion?
Yes.
So, should Ferrari in 2020 put all their eggs into his basket and go, Leclerc is our number one?
I don't think that's a very good strategy, because you'll then end up with a very unhappy driver who's getting paid like 40 million a year just to be number two, which isn't a great.
Take it, personally.
It's not a great business strategy though, to be paying the second most highest contract to a driver who you know is not going to win a title. But really, what they should have done is, it seems very harsh, but get rid of Vettel and bring in someone who's going to happily be number two. Someone I don't know.
Yeah, this is always the struggle, isn't it, with Sebastian Vettel, because we'll be honest, neither of us are a fan of him.
No, not really.
But on the other hand, I personally cannot deny you can see the desire that he wants to win a world title with Ferrari.
Yeah, completely. His idol is Michael Schumacher, and to be a German in a Ferrari who basically rebuilds the team to a point of winning a world championship or dominating a sport that's his dream. So I can see why he's staying, but I just don't know if he's got it anymore, to be perfectly honest.
So even not from just a driving standpoint, do we think Sebastian Vettel is capable of building Ferrari like that?
Well, I think he's done it. He's done what he can. He joined when they were not even getting podiums really in 2014. They got 2 podiums all season, and then he's joined, and then they've made loads of progress, to be fair to him, and they're now challenging Mercedes, or in a position to be able to challenge Mercedes most seasons. So he's done a good job. It's just the final little bit isn't there. I suppose it comes with Mercedes being so strong. It's the last little bit is what you need. But
are we talking sort of 1% gains here and there? There's always that theory of you've got to find those fractions everywhere, and those fractions add up.
Yeah, completely.
So, do we think we're going to see potentially a horrible situation for Sebastian Vettel where he's brought Ferrari back and Charles Leclerc's the one that wins that world championship? Or, potentially even worse for Sebastian Vettel, Hamilton wins that world championship for Ferrari?
That's an interesting one. I don't see Hamilton going, personally, to Ferrari.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I don't think Vettel will ever win another title. Certainly not for Ferrari. But Leclerc will. It's sort of a similar situation with how you're going to like this. How Hamilton, how Rosberg and Schumacher brought Mercedes back, and then Hamilton benefited. So
they wanted him. That's all I'm going to say. They always want to get the best driver of their generation. That's all I'm going to say. But I think, well, no. Anyway, then I think we've discussed a lot of the past of Ferrari. Now their future. 2020, do we think that we're going to see Ferrari, first of all, get one of their drivers inside the top 3 again? The fact that Verstappen picked them both to P3 in 2019 not only proved how good Verstappen is, but also how, I wouldn't say appalling is probably a bit too strong, but how uncoordinated Ferrari was this season. They should have got one of those drivers in P3.
Yeah, easily. Over the season, the Ferrari was such a better car than Red Bull. There's no excuse for not being, at least one of them being in P3.
So, going into 2020 then, do we think we're going to see one of them in P3? If so, which?
No, I don't think either of them will be. But probably Leclerc. Well, Leclerc's definitely more likely in my opinion. But yeah, I don't think he'll do it. I think Ferrari will be the same again as this season, really. A lot of missed opportunities. I think Leclerc's going to be obviously more experienced now, so he'll be able to take the opportunities a little more often when they come, but I still don't think it'll be enough.
So, looking at 2019, the gap was 14 points behind him and Verstappen. Even when you just take away Brazil, that gap could have probably been, what we're talking, 2 or 4, maybe 6, potentially.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's all unknowns. But then, obviously, you can say on the other side of that, look at Belgium and Italy for Verstappen and stuff like that.
And Japan as well, yeah.
This is always how Formula 1 works at the end of the day, isn't it? Now, do we think we're going to see Ferrari focus on their 2021 package more than 2020?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, a lot of teams are going to be doing that. But I think they'll develop this season. At the end of the day, it's still a world championship that you're fighting for. It's not like a throwaway season, but they will be focusing more, I reckon, on the rule change.
Yeah, I think this is, what's always weird about Formula 1 is, I think the way we're sort of building this up, it is probably going to be I wouldn't say a throwaway season, is the wrong word to use, but I think there's obviously everything around Formula 1 is sort of taking 2020 is sort of in 2021's shadow, isn't it? It's sort of just that prequel to it.
Yeah, it already feels
no
like
one's really interested in.
Yeah, it already feels like we're talking about the next one before this one's even started. So
yeah. Now, it's difficult, really. What else can you say about Ferrari? Unfortunately, I want to be positive. I really do. Now, I'm not a Ferrari fan. To be honest, what I like seeing is Ferrari pushing Mercedes. I want to see Red Bull pushing Mercedes as well. Do we, in 2020, do we think they're capable of that over more of a season than we saw in 2019?
Yeah, and realistically, with the budgets and everything, Ferrari should be the team in second place that are pushing Mercedes as far as they can. But I just don't think they will, to be honest. But I don't know. But I hope they can. But I'd be very surprised.
Is it one of those difficult situations, I think, for the pair of us, where neither of us are Ferrari fans? That's not hidden in any way. I don't think this video is hidden that very well, I'll be honest. But we both want to see them. We both believe, they are the team. And I think Max Verstappen and Red Bull certainly are as well. But we want to see both teams get it together so Mercedes really get pushed hard.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we really, over the course of a whole season, we're still yet to see that, aren't we, really?
Yeah, like 2017 they got pretty close. 2018 pretty similar again. Like first half was good, and then Hamilton just demolished them. And then I just hope there's something interesting happens. I just don't want to see Hamilton walk away with another one. But Ferrari or Red Bull have to pull something out the bag to stop it happening. Really.
Yeah, it's yeah. I think so. Obviously, looking at the future. Obviously, we discussed whether we'll see Mercedes leave the sport. Personally, neither of us see that happening anytime soon. We've touched upon Hamilton coming in. Again, neither of us really see him going to Ferrari, in all honesty. I personally believe he's just going to see out his career at Mercedes. And if they opt to leave, say, in 2025 or beforehand, he'll go with them. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So, Charles Leclerc, then. Well, we've both agreed he's Ferrari's future.
Completely. Like, they gave him, a 5-year contract earlier in the winter.
He's got the longest contract on the grid, doesn't he? Who is the person to join him at that team?
This is difficult because you look at Alfa Romeo, which is effectively the team. Giovinazzi is never going to make it to Ferrari.
He's 26, isn't he, already?
Yeah,
people forget how old Giovinazzi is.
Yeah, he's like the Jesse Lingard of Formula 1. So I don't know if you'll understand that, but I don't know.
He's 26, He's turned 26 last month.
So you're looking at the feeder, the driver academy. So that's like Schwartzman, who's making his F2 debut, F3 champion, and then Mick Schumacher as well, who probably ends up in F1 just because of his heritage.
So you say Mick Schumacher doesn't deserve to get to Formula 1?
I think he deserves a shot if he performs in F2, but last season he didn't perform well enough. So people are saying get him in now. It's like, no, don't, because he's not good enough.
I think that's what I worry. We might end up seeing Ferrari in a bit of a desperate situation where, you look at Formula 1 at the moment and you look at sort of where Ferrari could look at drivers. Obviously, you've always had that potential of Daniel Ricciardo going there.
Yep. I could personally see Carlos Sainz ending up at Ferrari eventually.
Carlos Sainz is another person, that you could see going there. Is there anyone else looking down that grid that you think I can see them at a Ferrari? Sergio Perez? No. Locked in at Racing Point.
About 5 years ago, I thought Grosjean ended up at Ferrari, in a genuine way, but that's not happening anymore.
Get K-Mag in there. That's what I say. They need a feisty Dane.
There's no one. Obviously, from my bias standpoint, I would have said get rid of Vettel, sign Hulkenberg, but that's not going to happen.
No.
So
Hulkenberg,
gone.
I know we have very different opinions of him, but Hulkenberg's gone.
To be fair, I can almost see Bottas ending up at Ferrari, which would be if they want a number 2 driver, and if he gets kicked out of Mercedes for Russell or Ocon, then Ferrari's a good landing spot, isn't it? So, but no, I think they'll look at their feeder team when Vettel retires or leaves.
But how long is that going to take? This is
maybe
the problem.
Another 2 years.
Are they going to have to keep Vettel there until Schwartzman or Schumacher? Because obviously, what you got to remember is Schwartzman and Schumacher. They're both going to be in Formula 2 this year. We're not going to see either of them move up to Formula 1 unless something crazy happens, are we?
No. But then Schwartzman, I think Schwartzman will probably come top 5 in F2.
Yeah, I'd say both of them are at least certainly going to be capable of winning races next season. Now, they'll then potentially, obviously, that might be, next season in Formula 2.
Season after
Schwartzman
Alpha.
another Formula 2. Are we then going to see them?
I think Schwartzman's going straight up. I think he's jumping.
You think Schwartzman? So 2021, you're saying Schwartzman's in that Alpha?
Yeah, but I don't know who alongside, because obviously Kimi's contract's going.
Yeah.
And Giovinazzi will probably get replaced. So whether it be someone like a Kvyat ends up at Alpha, because the other seat is obviously Alpha's to choose what they do with.
Yeah, but then we're already talking 2022.
Yeah.
We're talking 3 seasons from now.
So will Vettel still be there, happy to be
We're already
second?
talking about Vettel getting the sack.
Yeah.
This is what makes Ferrari's situation, both short-term and long-term, so complicated to try and decide.
Bring Kimi back. Leclerc and Kimi. That's a title winning
Kimi's
team
the
right
answer,
there.
is it? That,
yeah.
Honestly, it does make you wonder, doesn't it, sometimes? But Kimi, I think the second half of this season is just, not really. Great. You can tell Kimi is on the decline, bless him.
Unfortunately, yeah.
It'll be a shame to see him when he does leave Formula 1 for good, but honestly, based on the second half of 2019, he'll make the end of 2020, but I think that'll be it. But then again, Kimi's full of surprises. He's one of those people that could leave next week or in 5 years, isn't he?
Well, he's already 40, isn't he? So
yeah,
he'll be 41 at the end of this season. He could stay on. Like Schumacher went until 42, so you never know.
43, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, we shall wait and see. But I mean, I think this video has gone on long enough.
Yes.
There is so much to talk about Ferrari. Perhaps I'll have to make a part 2 in the near future as well. But I think we're going to cut it there. Ferrari, we want to see a bit of a return from them.
Where do we think they'll finish in the championship again?
Tell me where you think they're going to be.
4th and 5th.
You're going 4th and 5th.
Leclerc
nice
4th.
And boring. I am going to say 3rd and 5th.
Okay, interesting.
And I'm saying just 5th.
Yeah.
I reckon Albon's just going to push them.
That would be very hilarious, to be fair.
It would be top quality.
Yeah.
But,
just...
yeah, I think... Yeah, well, it's been an interesting discussion. It's certainly gone on a bit longer than I was expecting, in all honesty. But there we are then, guys. That is our recap / preview of Ferrari for 2020. An interesting situation. I think we could have both agreed. Jamie, anything else to add?
I don't think so, but Max Verstappen's better than both Ferrari drivers anyway, so...
I think we all knew that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we'll see for how long. I can't believe Verstappen. I know this is completely off topic, but this is going to be, what, his 6th season of Formula 1.
He's in the top...
He's still about 14.
Yeah, he's in the top 9, I think, for most experienced driver already.
Yeah.
And he's like 21 or something.
Which
I don't even know.
Yeah. He's 23, 24, isn't he?
Oh, 22
is he?
Isn't it?
How old is he? Yeah. How old is Verstappen? He is
22.
22, which is just ridiculous. But that'll do us then for this video, though, guys. Thank you all so much. Obviously, if you have stuck around for the entirety of this one, it certainly was a bit longer than we were anticipating. But that has been our Ferrari preview. Next time out, we'll be back with Red Bull. I'm sure Jamie is very much prepared and looking forward to that one. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Do get yourself subscribed if you're new around here. And yeah, hopefully we will see you guys next time.